In the headlines of this hour on VTV News, Vietnam aims for 8% GDP growth in 2025. Later on, Vietnam Global Innovation Connect Singapore 2025 kicks off. And in our world news, Russia and China foreign ministers discussed relations with US and Ukraine.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is currently 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning into 30 minutes of VTV News. I'm Lin Lei with the latest updates. Now, during the Friday government meeting on economic growth, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính reaffirmed the government's commitment to achieving at least 8% GDP growth in 2025. He emphasized the nation's unified efforts, stating the party has given the directive, the government is aligned, the National Assembly supports it, and the people are behind us. Now, we just need to act. The Prime Minister outlined several key strategies, including a focus on innovative thinking, mobilizing public resources for rapid yet sustainable development, and ensuring macroeconomic stability. His agenda calls for stronger labor productivity, improved policies for businesses, efficient public investment, and targeted financial and monetary policies. The government aims to continue addressing emerging issues while pushing for bold economic reforms, ensuring the nation's growth remains stable and robust. The Vietnam Global Innovation Connect Singapore 2025 has launched in Singapore, gathering 100 Vietnamese and international innovation leaders. The event provides a platform for experts to discuss and propose strategies that will enhance Vietnam's global technological presence. The forum centers on three strategic sectors: semiconductors, artificial intelligence or AI, and financial technology or fintech. Over the course of 3 days from February the 20th to the 22nd, participants will engage in discussions covering broad and specialized technological topics. The forum will also recognize outstanding innovators and businesses, facilitate meetings between startups and potential investors, and conclude with recruitment events for Singaporean students. According to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, January's total retail sales of goods and consumer service revenue reached an estimate 573 trillion Vietnam dong, a 9.5% increase from the same period last year. Building on this momentum, businesses and the industry trade sector plan to implement measures to stabilize prices, boost consumption, and achieve their 12% annual growth target.
Thanks to e-commerce platform promotions, the price of 10 kilograms of specialty rice dropped from $17 to just over $14, a 30% reduction. This strategy helped rice enterprises achieve a 20% revenue growth during the Lunar New Year.
In 2025, we aim for a growth rate of over 25%. To achieve this, we are leveraging e-commerce platforms with various promotional vouchers to drive sales and reach more customers.
Many businesses have increased their budgets by at least 5% compared to last year, focusing on initiatives to drive sales growth.
As consumers tighten their spending, price reductions are the key to stimulating demand. We have communicated with shareholders to cut unnecessary expenses and allocate a dedicated budget to sustain competitiveness in the 2025 market.
To reach its growth targets, the Ho Chi Minh City Department of Industry and Trade has committed to supporting businesses by connecting supply with demand and helping them access raw materials.
We facilitate business-to-business meetings through government initiatives, strengthening market connections. Programs like market stabilization and the green tick of responsibility help boost consumer confidence. Additionally, shopping season has become a signature event in Ho Chi Minh City, allowing consumers to access high-quality goods at reasonable prices.
Additionally, the 2% VAT reduction policy, effective until mid-year, along with initiatives to promote e-commerce, is expected to drive business confidence and support their double-digit growth targets.
The government will hold a conference with local authorities today on Friday to implement the Central Committee's conclusions and resolutions from the National Assembly and Government on economic growth. The conference will focus on Resolution Number 25, which establishes growth targets across sectors, industries, and regions to help the national economy achieve at least 8% growth this year. In the agricultural sector, new momentum must drive the growth strategy outlined in Resolution 25. As productivity reaches its limits, each industry must develop specific solutions to increase added value, particularly given the current global trade fluctuations.
The U.S.'s reciprocal tax policy has imposed new tariffs on many U.S.-bound exports, while China has strengthened regulations on imported fruits and vegetables. Additionally, India has resumed rice exports. These market developments create significant challenges for economic growth targets. Despite these pressures, the seafood industry, through its deep processing solutions, was the only sector showing growth in the first 2 months of the year.
We focus on producing high-quality, organic shrimp products such as breaded shrimp, tempura, and crispy shrimp to meet the growing demands of consumers worldwide.
Seafood exports are expected to grow by 10%, reaching approximately $11 billion. However, achieving an additional $1 billion in growth is a significant challenge. The key question is how to create incentives for farmers and fishermen to boost production. Only then can we enhance competitiveness and expand market share.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has revised its targets, raising the growth goal from 3.3 to 3.4% to 4% and increasing the expected export turnover of agricultural, forestry, and fishery products from 64 to 65 billion USD to 70 billion USD.
The government has set a very ambitious target, and the ministry is committed to achieving it at the highest level. There is no other way. Market expansion is the top priority.
If we can increase the processing rate to 20%, 50%, or even 100%, then $70 billion in export value would be a modest figure. The challenge lies in transforming each cooperative into a digital enterprise.
By 2025, the Mekong Delta aims to achieve a trade surplus of more than 20 billion USD. For Vietnamese agricultural products to overcome challenges, the focus must shift from quantity to quality. New markets in the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America present promising opportunities.
Nghệ An province has officially opened 2 new sub-border gates with Laos. The Thông Thu Nậm Tai and Thanh Thủy Nậm On gates will facilitate the free movement of people, vehicles, and goods between Nghệ An province and the Lao provinces of Hủa Phăn and Bô Lê Kham Sai. This follows an official request from Lao authorities to enhance cross-border trade. Along with the established Nậm Cắn International Border Gate, these new crossings will strengthen import-export activities between Vietnam and Laos while fostering trade, tourism, and economic development in the border regions. The Vietnamese government is intensifying food safety inspections for agricultural exports, directing businesses to meet hygiene, safety, and disease control standards for foreign markets. Deputy Prime Minister Chan Nong Ha directed the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Ministry of Industry and Trade to enhance oversight of production areas, processing facilities, and packaging centers. This move follows repeated warnings from the EU regarding Vietnamese food product safety. If left unaddressed, these concerns could threaten Vietnam's billion-dollar export market. Maintaining strict food safety standards remains essential for preserving the country's reputation and market position internationally. China now requires all Vietnamese durian shipments to have Ormin O certification in addition to cadmium residue testing. Standardizing the entire process from growing areas to packaging facilities is crucial for ensuring export quality. However, numerous individuals and organizations have been forging durian export codes, severely damaging both local cooperatives and businesses while tarnishing the reputation of this key Mekong Delta export.
This cooperative has its own packaging code. However, in January, another cooperative illegally used this code to export dozens of tons of durian to China.
Obtaining an export code requires significant money and effort from us. When other businesses illegally use our code, it causes us serious harm. We hope there will be measures to stop and prevent this fraud.
Recently, several reputable fruit exporters submitted urgent appeals after discovering their seals, signatures, and packaging codes had been forged. The legitimate businesses suffered losses when importing countries recalled products bearing these fraudulent codes.
This is a new type of crime, and many new professional measures must be strengthened to detect and prevent it in a timely manner. This issue requires the decisive participation of relevant agencies.
I think we need a testing center for the Mekong Delta provinces, since this is a major durian growing region. The Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development must consider this issue to address our locality's production needs.
In Tianjiang province alone, authorities suspended 55 growing area codes and 44 durian packaging facilities for violating regulations.
Pepper prices in Zalai have soared past $5.89 per kilogram, the highest level in nearly a decade, since 2016. With relatively stable yields, farmers are benefiting from significant profits. The province currently maintains about 7,500 hectares of pepper plants with an average yield of approximately 3.5 tons per hectare. This price surge can be attributed to a significant decline in planted area over the past 10 years, as farmers have shifted to other crops like coffee and durian. Additionally, rising demand from European and U.S. markets has contributed to the increase. According to the Vietnam Pepper Association, exports to the U.S. rose by over 20% in January compared to the previous year. However, adverse weather conditions and disease outbreaks have constrained supply. Before we move on, let's have a look at the exchange rate between the Vietnam Dong and some world currencies in today's market. Coming up next on VTV News. Technology helps farmers combat drought. And later on, Cheung Sa's soldiers stand vigilant to defend Vietnam's maritime sovereignty. Moving on to other important updates, as the Central Highlands enters the dry season, localized water shortages are expected to affect production. In response, farmers are actively implementing modern water-saving irrigation technologies to combat the effects of the prolonged drought.
Having endured years of drought, farmers in the Central Highlands now make water conservation their top priority in agriculture. Currently, Khu Thong Reservoir maintains stable water levels, while the dry people adhere to a structured water rotation system.
The agricultural sector helps us secure water for coffee farming. Today, I switched to electric-powered irrigation, which is both cost-effective and efficient.
The Central Highlands is home to over 650,000 hectares of coffee plantations. During the dry season, irrigation demands peak. Farmers typically water their crops 3 times per season, though this may increase to 4 or 5 times to prepare for water scarcity. Many farmers are investing in ponds and reservoirs for storage.
By conserving water and ensuring sustainable storage, we can better withstand drought. This approach has proven highly effective, improving productivity, and with rising prices, farmers are seeing greater benefits and stability.
We are reviewing the reservoir and dam systems to ensure proper water storage, distribution, and regulation for crops. We also guide farmers on efficient water use and preventing waste to better manage resources during the dry season.
During last year's drought, farmers emphasized the importance of investing in modern technology and smart irrigation systems. By combining fertilization with precise water control, they successfully reduced costs while maintaining profits of over $19,600 per hectare of coffee.
Over the past year, tens of thousands of people in Ninh Thuận and Cà Mau provinces have had new access to clean water in response to the impacts of drought and saltwater intrusion. That is thanks to the Water is Life project coordinated by UN Women with funding from the government of Japan. Essential equipment such as water tanks, water filtration systems, and water-saving irrigation equipment have been distributed to more than 1,500 women and 10 schools and health stations, benefiting tens of thousands. The Mekong Delta is currently nearing the peak of its dry season. Prolonged heat waves are exposing large forested areas to dangerous fire risk levels. As drought conditions are expected to persist, local authorities have intensified wildfire prevention efforts.
In the Bay Nui region, extreme heat has rapidly dried the forests. Many areas have turned yellowish-brown with withered vegetation and dead vines.
One of the biggest challenges is the region's mountainous terrain. During the dry season, water reservoirs on mountaintops often run dry.
In Ting Bien Town and Tri Tôn district, 7 large reservoirs with capacities ranging from 10,000 to 20,000 cubic meters have been established.
These 6-meter-deep reservoirs allow forest rangers to fill water tanks at the foot of the mountains, allowing us to respond more effectively if a fire breaks out.
The Provincial Forest Management Board has hired workers to keep these tanks full for rapid fire response.
The province has also deployed fire pumps, portable firefighting equipment. In high-risk areas, patrol teams are on duty 24/7.
Forest owners are instructed to maintain water levels in canals to ensure sufficient supply in case of emergencies.
Beyond equipment and personnel, Anjang forest rangers have constructed fire breaks, cleared undergrowth, and carried out controlled burns to reduce fuel loads.
As military training intensifies across the country, Cheung Sa's officers and soldiers train tirelessly day and night, gripping their weapons firmly to defend their fatherland. Under all conditions, these soldiers embody the qualities of Uncle Ho's forces, overcoming every challenge, fulfilling their duties, and safeguarding the nation's sacred seas and islands.
On the Cheung Sa archipelago, air defense warning drills like this are conducted around the clock, even during harsh weather with rain and strong wind. Training exercises are strictly maintained and executed according to the schedule.
With increasingly demand requirements for protecting our territorial waters and islands, each soldier must maintain peak physical and mental fitness.
To maintain combat readiness, physical training and endurance building are top priorities for officers and soldiers on Cheung Sa archipelago. The soldiers enthusiastically engage in long-distance running, martial arts training, and various sports, driven by their commitment to protect and build the fatherland.
Usually in the afternoons, soldiers gather here to play soccer. This is a bonding activity. It also eases soldiers' homesickness.
Thanks to both material support and spiritual care, the officers and soldiers feel secure in carrying out their duties to protect Vietnam's territorial waters and islands.
Historical treasures preserved in museums often struggle to reach the general public. However, the Imperial Archaeological Chronicles project in Hue City is bringing national treasures closer to the public, especially the younger generation, through a special edition souvenir integrating modern technology.
Young people are excited to explore miniature versions of national treasures at the Interior Ministry in the Imperial City of Hue. Participants will discover treasures hidden in plaster blocks like this.
The first time I tried, I found the throne. Reimagined miniature cultural product engages today's youth, offering a fresh take on preservation and inspiring them to share Vietnamese culture globally.
Inspired by the four treasures of the ancient capital of Hue, including the Great Bell at Thiên Mục Pagoda, the cannon, the tripod cauldron, and the throne of the Nguyen dynasty, Imperial Archaeological Chronicles is a creative project blending collection artistry with technology to produce high-quality cultural products. Each replica is embedded with a unique chip for authentication. When scanned via smartphone, owners can verify authenticity, explore the creation process, and learn about the treasure's historical and cultural significance.
We hope to bring national treasures closer to the public and those who love cultural history.
More than just a game, the Imperial Archaeological Chronicles is not only a business venture. Its exquisite design and deep symbolic value resonate with history and culture enthusiasts, to young people eager to connect with their national heritage.
Coming up next in a world news. Russia and China foreign ministers discussed relations with US and the Ukraine. Ukraine declares readiness to reach security agreement with US. Now moving over to our world news, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi to discuss a range of topics, including U.S. relations and the Ukrainian conflict. The Russian Foreign Ministry announced on Thursday. The meeting took place on the sidelines of the G20 ministerial meeting in South Africa. Both ministers highlighted how the growing political dialogue and cooperation between Russia and China serves as a stabilizing force amid global turbulence. Earlier in January, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping had discussed how to build relations with U.S. President Donald Trump, along with the prospects of ending the Ukrainian conflict. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky pledged on Thursday that Ukraine stands ready to swiftly forge a strong security and investment agreement with the United States. During a good discussion, quote-unquote, with Keith Kellogg, the U.S. Special Envoy for Ukraine and Russia, Zelensky discussed battlefield conditions, Ukraine's desired security guarantees, and the return of prisoners of war. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered an intensive operation against centers of terrorism in the occupied West Bank on Friday after 3 buses exploded in central Israel, causing no reported injuries. The incident occurred in the city of Bat Yam on Thursday evening, where 3 devices detonated on buses while 2 others were being defused. Following a security assessment with top officials early Friday, Netanyahu's office announced on social media the launch of fresh counterterrorism operations and enhanced security measures in Israeli cities. Israeli media reported that bus drivers across the country were instructed to stop and inspect their vehicles for additional explosive devices. The concept of flying cars has long been a mainstay in imaginings of the future, featuring in films like Blade Runner, The Fifth Element, and Back to the Future. Aleph Aeronautics believe they are one step closer to making that future a reality. The California-based company has released videos showing their flying car taking off vertically and traveling over a parked truck. More to follow.
An American startup has invited the press to a public demo of its electric flying car, which has garnered more than 3,000 pre-orders already. The Aleph Aeronautics company said the test was carried out without any danger to the public and without any safety issues.
The significance of this video is we really hope that it will be will have a similar impact as the Wright brothers video, in a sense that it proves to the humanity that the new mode of transportation is possible.
The CEO said that buying a flying car would be prohibitively expensive as they are not in the manufacturing stage yet, but that prices are likely to go down as more are produced. The end goal, it should be actually same level or less expensive than Toyota Corolla, Ford Focus, or anything like that because it's less complex.
We hope that most people will use more flying cars than the ground cars because that will relieve traffic. That will make the world actually move more efficient, will make people get to their destination more efficient.
The flying car project has been in active development since 2017. Aleph Aeronautics claims it can last 220 miles on a single charge on the road and 110 miles in the air. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration has awarded it a special airworthiness certification.
Up next, let's have a look at the weather forecast for Vietnam and other locations in the world. And that is all that we have for this hour on VTV News. To rewatch our program, you can visit our website or YouTube channel or download mobile app VTVgo for more. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.